What's up, Goblins? I'm not me, or at least a clone of their voice, and welcome to the third episode of the final Contingency. To start off, Ibator has arrived at the entrance to the Hauer system and is preparing to attack the Chai aliens. We're holding off for now, because the engineering division is conducting a study on their design to see if there's anything we can learn before they're destroyed. It shouldn't take long, so the first space battle with Xenolife is almost here. Not that this is necessarily a good thing. The team dedicated to understanding the Chi aliens has finally completed their work, and their findings confirm our suspicions. The machines are worker drones from an orbital mining facility, which was missed during initial scans of the system due to its inactivity and extreme age. It's clear that both the drones and the facility are extraordinarily old, at least 2,000 years, and almost certainly existed during the creators' control of the system. Whether or not they were built by the creators, however, isn't certain. We know the creators used automated mining and mentioned various forms of orbital mining, including drones, in their documentation, though these specific machines don't appear in the database. Regardless, the Discovery Division is finished with the Chai aliens, though engineering has now requested to conduct its own study. They believe our mining drones, while not as advanced, could be improved using elements of the Chai drones' design and behavior. The study will require the drones to remain operational for a little under a year, delaying Asset Protection's assault. Engineering assures us the delay will be worth it. There's been an interesting development with the Junhas aliens, the ones with the science ship. The team working to decipher their language has had trouble gathering enough data, so they've been flying our ships close to theirs, hoping to provoke communication over open channels. This worked for a while, and more ships have been spotted beyond just the original science vessel. But recently, the aliens have started flying aggressively toward us, making several moves that seem threatening. They've flown at extremely close range, pointed their weapons at us, and sent transmissions that, while indecipherable, are broadcast with such intensity that some believe they're warnings or threats. The Discovery Division is split on how to proceed. Since no hostile action has been taken yet, most don't want an aggressive response. Some think this might be a test or a hostile greeting that we're supposed to mimic. Others believe we've offended them with our flybys, and that they're telling us to stay away. There's little evidence for either theory, as their language remains mostly unintelligible. The decision was passed to Andromeda, given the potential consequences. Andromeda has ordered a stop to all flybys and decided any aggressive behavior by the Junhas aliens will be ignored for now. While this may not be the response they expect, it's certainly safer than provoking them further. Some within the Discovery Division grumble about the missed opportunity, but few can fault Andromeda's caution. The team will continue deciphering the language without further direct contact. The Knots round engine, under Bracer's command, has discovered a new resource in the Delegan system, one system over from the June Haas. While surveying an ice asteroid called HL97, scanners picked up unusual readings. On investigation, the survey team uncovered previously unknown crystals embedded within and beneath the asteroid's surface. These crystals are translucent and naturally intensify most forms of light that pass through them, firing them out as a more powerful beam, similar to a focusing lens, but without any technological components. However, attempts to retrieve samples resulted in them crumbling into useless dust. Due to their extreme fragility, extraction remains a challenge, though a solution may be found. Discovery Division scientists found a match in the Creator databanks, a Creator material referred to simply as rare crystals. Apparently, several crystals with similar properties were grouped under this term. Engineering is now drawing up proposals to extract them on an industrial scale. If successful, they could prove invaluable in electronics and energy weapons. Engineering has finished their study of the mining drones and made two key discoveries. The first is that elements of their design and operational methods have now been integrated into our own mining drones. Although our drones are much smaller and less autonomous than the Chais, the improvements have boosted production rates considerably. For now, only Titan extraction benefits, as they sit on the corporate board and receive early access to Holdings' technological advances. The second discovery was unexpected. The drones are trying to communicate with someone or something. Both the drones and their mining facility have communication equipment. The drones use theirs for short-range data exchange with the facility, but the facility has both short and long-range comms. It periodically broadcasts extremely low-wavelength signals in all directions, though the messages are indecipherable due to background interference. There's no sign of any reply. It's likely the facility is trying to contact a long-defunct central hub. With the study complete, Asset Protection now has the green light to move in. After a quick arsenal upgrade at Holding Station, the fleet is ready to engage. The Synchron Machine fleet has entered the Hauer system and is engaging the drones. Ibator, commanding from the Knots Viper drone, is leading the fleet. The mining drones fight in static formations with predictable behavior. It's obvious they weren't built for combat. Our fleet consists of 8 Meteorite-class corvettes, equipped with blue lasers and coil guns, and protected by deflectors and nanocomposite armor. For context, blue lasers fire intense beams of light that melt armor, but are weak against shields. Coil guns use magnetic coils to fire metal projectiles that bypass shields but struggle against heavy armor. The drones lack shields and leadership, and their armor is insufficient. The Bader's fleet quickly disables all 3 drones by destroying their power sources. The mining facility is also disabled. With no losses and total success, the fleet will now return to Holding Station to rearm, while the Knots round engine moves in to analyze the wreckage for useful tech. We've just made the most anticipated discovery in Tradiarch history. The team studying the Mu aliens' transmissions has fully deciphered their language. We are now in contact with a race of spacefaring aliens, the Mutagen Merchant Guild. They reside in the galactic north, in a system called Ursabu-2. They are organic. Andromeda's expansion plan has officially begun. The new Knot Holding construction ship Mayhem Trooper has started work on a new orbital station in the Sun system. Built in collaboration with TerraWorks, this station will orbit close to the Sun and serve as additional living and working space. Lumen Energy is particularly invested, as the proximity to the star will benefit their solar collectors. This is the first major expansion effort beyond Holding Station, and a symbolic gesture by Andromeda, to prove the viability of their expansion-focused strategy, counter to more development-centered plans championed by figures like Rob Bott. Most Tradiarchs are excited by the prospect of new space, though some question the cost. While most Tradiarchs ride the wave of xenophilia, Ibatar remains characteristically cautious. Construction has just completed on a new enhanced station in the Junhas system, near what is likely the aliens' border. This station will function as both a shipyard and a defense platform. While not as powerful as Holding Station, it can perform fleet repairs and upgrades and provide some defense in case of attack. Some executives think it's a waste of resources given the lack of hostility, but Ibatar believes delaying could be fatal. Andromeda trusts Ibatar's military judgment, and the station named Ibator Station, has been fully approved and equipped. Speaking of which, the team studying the Junhas aliens has contacted Andromeda with urgent news. They've completed their language research, and after some test communications, have arranged a face-to-face meeting with the aliens' leaders. The top executives of Holding have been rushed to the edge of the Junhas system for what could be a history-making diplomatic encounter to be held aboard one of our ships.
Be careful, like this never happened to me. I Wait until you're in here. And be careful, like, this never happened to me. I had a very responsible parachute, like, and my friends don't drink, or they drink, so they don't drink.
You may want to sit down for this, as we just discovered a new race of spacefaring aliens. They are called the Olympians and are lithoids, which means they are made of and eat minerals. While there was initial optimism about them, the details we have been able to ascertain about their society have led most to be less enthusiastic about their discovery. Their government is a form of elective dictatorship and embraces the ethics of authoritarianism, militarism, and materialism. While we don't have any ideological differences and have quite good relations with their leader, they are also somewhat nationalistic and imperialistic, and their society as a whole regards us with suspicion, if not opportunistic malice. To prevent any conflicts, a diplomat has been sent to try and soften their attitude towards us. In case that doesn't work, Asset Protection has assigned a special clandestine task force to find out as much as possible about them and ascertain any opportunities for further espionage. While the discovery of our first alien neighbors is being celebrated, it is clear to those at the top of Holding that they could turn into enemies if not handled correctly. The Knots Round engine has finished studying the remains of the mining drones. Among some general observations about their design, two components stand out as potentially warranting further research. First is their mining laser, which seems to be slightly better than ours, though more expensive and shorter range. Second is the engine their drones used, which seems to be a step ahead of our chemical thrusters. The data about them has been given to the physics and engineering divisions, respectively, and the round engine will now survey the Hauer system and move on. Bracer has taken up an interesting hobby, logistical planning. Whether they were encouraged from the military theory wing or independently decided to look into it, it has become clear that the head of R&D is quite good at coordinating military supplies after they delivered several suggestions to Asset Protection on ways to improve their current systems. Now, the military will be listening to Bracer about these things, which is bound to improve efficiency. How Ibator will feel about this, however, is yet to be seen. An observation station has been constructed above Basteron at the request of the Sociology Division. This will allow them to observe the Bronze Age civilization living on the Savannah planet. Now that we have a better look at them, we now know their species' general traits. From what we can tell, they seem to be an industrious and clever species, but they lack empathy and longevity. Scientists from sociology will passively observe them for the foreseeable future. The home system of the Mudigan Merchant Guild has been discovered and surveyed, and now we can do business with them. Their main industry is the industrial-scale creation of a synthetic version of rare crystals. It is unknown how they do this, but they are offering to sell the crystals, which they call Shirakadu in their native language to us on a monthly basis. For now, we will hold off on that offer, since we have no immediate use for them and they are quite expensive. It appears the ugly head of politics has reared its head again in Tradiarch society. Two new political organizations have been formed. The Association of Scientific Scholars is a special interest group that represents the various scientific and materialistic citizens in our society. Since we have a lot of scientists, it is quite powerful. Bracer, the commander of the Knots Round engine, is a public member, and it is rumored that Tracker supports it behind the scenes. The other organization is the Alien Justice Foundation, a political pressure group that represents the Xenoists amongst us. They have less supporters than the AOSS, but ones they do have are quite enthusiastic, with protests aboard the Sun Habitat sporting the Foundation's logo being a regular sight already. While we are not a democracy, and therefore do not have to listen to either of them, it may be worth it anyway. The support of these groups might prove useful for enacting change on a social level, and avoiding the trouble they may cause if we don't will equally be valuable. For now, neither of them are particularly happy or unhappy with us, and their demands are predictable, so we can safely ignore them for now. And it seems the Alien Justice Foundation is eager to put their ideology into practice. The AJF, in cooperation with Delphi Media, have come to Holding with a diplomatic proposal involving our new neighbors, the Olympians. Delphi Media will reach out to the Olympian government and suggest a cultural exchange, where Tradiarchs will go and live among Olympians, and Olympians will live among Tradiarchs. If they agree, members of the AJF and a Delphi film crew will go and live in the Olympian capital for several years, documenting their experience and integrating with the locals. Before they make this offer, they have asked for government support, to which we obviously agree, as while there is some risk, the potential to improve foreign relations cannot be overstated, and it doesn't take long for them to accept the proposal and for preparations to be underway. 3 months later, the respective delegations have arrived at each other's capitals. Delphi are already recording much of the experience and publishing it as a show, and the Olympians who arrived at the Sun habitat are being welcomed with crowds of excited tradiarchs. We're showing them much of our culture and hospitality, so that when they return, they will do a lot to improve our country's relations. Pretty much everyone is excited with this turn of events. New aliens have been discovered, although these ones are stranger than any of the others. Scanners on the knots. Vitality have detected anomalous energy readings coming from the Husea system in the galactic southwest. Upon investigation, these readings are coming from some kind of unique life form in the system. This alien being is made up of energy and light and is currently wandering the system, moving among the planetary bodies with little clue as to how they accomplish such sublight flight. As per usual, a team among the Discovery Division has been tasked with investigating them further, and has codenamed it a Kof alien. A strange object has been sighted in the Gargantua system, located in the galactic southwest. It is a large metallic sphere, about the size of a moon, and is the only object in the system apart from the black hole that resides in the center. While there are no signs of life from it, the object's ability to avoid falling into the black hole would signify some kind of propulsion or gravity manipulation. Whether it's a ship, machine, or anomalous planetary body, it's certainly an interesting find. Another pre-FTL civilization has been discovered. On the savannah world of Gennard, in the system of List, which is to the galactic north of Sun, there is a primitive race, although not as primitive as the others. This one is in what we might call the early space age, with archaic satellites and space stations being the extent of their space exploration. This one might actually develop hyperspace travel within the century, which is very exciting. Rob's Commerce Division is having its first major expansion. While they already invest in and assist various small businesses, this is being brought to a whole new level. Rob has drawn up plans for a strategy of so-called trickle-up economics, where holding can benefit from contributions to companies lower down on the economic food chain. This will contribute to more funds being available to holding and more amenities being available to our customers. It's mostly a win-win. Something disturbing has been found by Tracker. In the Sirius system, a large amount of organic remains are orbiting a local planetary body. There are 3 interesting facts about these bodies. First, there are almost 1,000 individual bodies, which is quite a lot. Second, almost all the remains are augmented with cybernetic enhancements, all of them being completely unique. Lastly, initial testing of the organic tissue has revealed them to be over 500,000 years old, with them only being intact thanks to the cold void of space. The cause of death and why they're here will require much more study, which Tracker is eager to conduct to find the answer to this macabre mystery. There is an update to the cultural exchange with the Olympians. Both delegations are enjoying their stay, and there is a lot of knowledge about each other being learned. Along with this, the series being made by Delphi is a smash hit. Overall, this is looking positive. The team working on the Kof aliens have reinforced our assumption that they are indeed living beings. Other than that, the work is still ongoing, one more step towards understanding this anomalous life form. The spy network has finished being set up in the Olympian Star Dynasty. Not only do we have information about their territory, military, technology, and economy, but we also have the ability to undertake various operations. These can range from benign, such as gathering information and recruiting local assets, to malicious, such as stealing resources, or technology, or even arming rebels. For now, they will just gather information, although that may change depending on how they act towards us. Viewers, I advise caution because this next piece of news is quite disturbing. The organic remains discovered by Tracker have finally been fully studied, and their fate isn't pretty. The cause of death of all the alien remains is vacuum exposure, and it's likely that they were all spaced, which is a form of execution where the victim is ejected from a ship via its airlock. As for who could have done this, it's someone we already know. The cybernetic additions present on almost all the organics have technology present in Cybrex designs. Tracker's hypothesis is that the Cybrex had abducted all these beings with the goal of determining if they could be assimilated into the hive mind by implanting them with technology. After disappointing results, they were loaded onto a ship and executed en masse. While this still leaves many questions unanswered, it certainly paints a disturbing picture of the Cybrex and their crusade. Since it is clear that we are not alone in the universe, Andromeda has seen fit to start trying to recruit these Xenos we know are out there. An interstellar recruiting office is being set up on Holding Station, and when they are operational, they will try to recruit aliens to work for us. Obviously, this will focus on the Olympians and the Mutagen Merchant Guild, but it will also try to get the attention of any currently undiscovered aliens, and we will get their best and brightest Sensors have detected another unknown spacefaring alien race on the other side of Olympian territory. There are space stations and ships located in the Slognet Head system, to the galactic east, and on the border of the Olympian star dynasty. While we'll get another discovery team on this, it's unlikely we'll be able to investigate them, since moving ships into our neighbor's territory would likely cause, if not an incident, then likely discomfort from them. But with that, I think we'll leave off. So be sure to tune in next time for another episode of The Final Contingency. Thank you very much, and goodbye.